welcome to today's video where we're going to be doing a different type of video. It's going to be a story time of how I got into hamsters and owning them. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird, it's because I'm still recovering from a cold that I've just had. So to start off, in 2019, I just went over to my friend's house and I saw a hamster cage. I'll put up on the screen what it was like. It was a 3-tier Tiny Tails cage and it had a pair of dwarf hamsters in. Please note that you should never house hamsters together, no matter what the species is. Please remember 1 hamster per cage. So as soon as I saw these hamsters, I instantly wanted one. I was 9 years old in 2019 and I just saw this cute furry thing and I immediately wanted it. However, of course, my parents, knowing that this was probably just a phase, said no, and they were very right to. I'm so glad they did not say yes, because I was way too young to be owning an animal and to be responsible for an animal at 9 years old, and I just know that I would not have taken good care of it. So from that day on, after I set eyes on these 2 hamsters, I began begging my parents basically every single day to let me have a hamster of my own. However, I was determined that I was only going to have 1 hamster. I'd done no research at this point, but I was just certain that I was only going to be owning 1 hamster. So whilst I was busy with begging my parents to get me a hamster, I was also doing my research on how to own them and trying to prove my parents that I could be a good, responsible hamster owner. Fortunately, all this research was done on Google, which may be great for some things. However, Google has lots and lots of very outdated information, dating back to even as far as 2010. In 2021, after several lockdowns because of COVID, I finally convinced my parents that I was responsible and capable enough for owning a hamster. My parents made it absolutely clear with me at 11 years old that I would be fully responsible for this animal. However, they did say that they would chip in with vet bills if necessary. They understood that by this point it was not a phase and I really was very genuine about my passion about owning hamsters. My parents agreed that I would get my hamster from a small pet shop because I refused pets at home, because even with Google's outdated information, I did know one thing: the pets at home was not the best place to go for animals. However, I still regret going to a pet shop for a hamster because I could have adopted one. Parents agreed I would get on the last day of year 6, which in the UK is the last day of primary school until you move to secondary school or high school. On the 23rd of July 2021, which was my last day in primary school, I brought home Hermione from the pet shop. This is a document with all the information on when I brought Hermione home, which is filled out in the pet store. I'll blank out a lot of it because it has personal details on, but I'll read you the important information. I got Hermione from the Ark Pet Centres. The species was a Russian dwarf hamster, although I'm pretty certain that Hermione is a hybrid dwarf hamster, which is when 2 species of dwarf hamster, the Campbell's dwarf and the Russian dwarf, are interbred together to make a hybrid species. Her gender is female and she was approximately 8 weeks old and was purchased on the 23rd of July on 2021. I even have a welcome home poster that I made when I was 11, just before the day that I brought her home. Just to point out, this is not poo, this is food. Unfortunately, I did start off with horrific care. I started off with a 3-tier Tiny Tails cage that I saw at my friend's house, and I used unsafe products such as pine bedding. Despite all this, I'm so glad that Hermione was the first one to run to the front of the cage door when the pet store colleague opened it, and she was the first one that I chose. She was just so adorable and I love her absolutely so much, and I'm so glad my care has improved. I will soon be doing a video on my hamster care evolution, so I hope you guys can look forward to that. Thank you so much for listening to this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!